What's up, everybody? This is Day Trading Attention. I'm Kip Russell, your host. We have 7 things to talk about that's really impacting the social media landscape. These are the most important news stories, besides how long my beard is, and that Fortnite came out today. I can't wait to play the old history, the first map. But the big things in social media happening that are really impacting strategies. I have 1 million followers. I head some of the biggest brands in the world's social media strategy. I'm just sharing with you guys what I'm paying attention to. That's really changing the landscape, changing strategies. And one, I'm focused on for growing, making more money, and also for my businesses so they can improve. One thing that is a monster trend that we're going to need to talk about is, why is messaging taking over social? Why are you hearing it? Why are people talking about it? Why are there ads going to Messenger? The big thing that happened post 2016 is the older demographic really got into social. Social was maturing. People are getting on Facebook. They're getting on Instagram. They're over 50. My generation, millennials and younger, we understand that the curated feed, that the content going on the feed wants to be stuff that's more entertaining or valuable, or just our life. For the everyday consumer, about 85 to 95% of people are just lurkers, just consuming content on social media. The other 10% that are creating the content, unless shit posting or drama or right or left wing or right is like really your bread and butter in terms of making money, most people don't want the drama in their lives. They don't want to share something that they know is going to cause them negative comments and get into the fight. That 2016 to 2020 era of social was really a dogfight as people were maturing with the platforms and not understanding the platforms. You have seniors commenting on posts that they think it's their friends' post, all sorts of crazy stuff, right? So people have moved from the public sharing to then sharing content. People still share, they share it to in Messenger, right? To text chains, to people that they trust, to certain people, to individuals. Adam Suri from Instagram mentioned that most people spend their time in Messenger on Instagram and in stories versus feed and Reels. Reels is actually number 3. Your static feed is number 4. So the game is changing. So they're trying to find more ways to capitalize off chat, running chat ads, right? Get different ways to engage people into chat. Chat's like an email feature if you're running ads. Like local business is a great way to kind of introduce yourself. A handshake in your like 5-mile radius is through Messenger. Start conversation there. People have like a 90% or 80% open rate. So consumers have changed. People don't want the drama. They're not sharing as much to feed. And they're not really even creating content as much. I think about 10% of the creators, including myself, are the ones making the content. Most people are now just passively watching. There's not as much value to post, especially because we learned over these last several years, even posting about your life is really not enough to keep people to do it. They just don't want to. They don't, people are sharing less. Unless, again, you have incentivized and you understand the personal brand and the value in it. So you got people like me posting more, and you got other people posting less and just consuming more. Hence, why TikTok has been so successful. You've heard it in all my videos. Everything's based on the interest graph, less on your friends and family, because what they noticed is most people don't post that content anymore. In fact, I very rarely post on Facebook. I probably need to do more, minus my business page, right? I'm focused on Reels, I'm focused on TikTok, I'm focused on YouTube Shorts, the place where there's upside. And that was Facebook's biggest hurdle, is they stopped making it valuable to post. Now it's all about who can make it the most valuable to incentivize people to post to keep people on the channels. So Messenger is becoming public. So if you're thinking about your strategies, testing Messenger ads, really good for local businesses, testing them as an upper funnel, maybe lead gen aspect to sort of nurture. Lots of stuff going on there. But again, people have changed. The political app, 2016 to 2022 era, the craziness of the world, a lot of that is moved to Twitter, where people are a little bit more active there. But the game has changed. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think about Messenger ads in the comments below. Number 2, what we're seeing is a new trend. Shout out to Elon for starting this. I know some people won't like it, but because of all the things going on with data privacy and laws, especially in Europe, not only did Twitter launch the first paid subscription for Twitter, and then they're going to make an ad-free version, right? Now you have Facebook and TikTok all experimenting with an ad-free version. Meta's doing it because in Europe, it's getting crazy over there. They're trying to basically stop targeted ads. I still don't understand why this is going so bad. I guess it's because they don't want people to potentially manipulate, overthrown countries and yada yada yada. Like there's lots of stuff going on with these targeted ads. They're just basically making it broad, and you can now your creative will do targeting. It's almost like traditional media if you think about it. But you can, make more creative and personalized and do lots of things to counteract that. But because of what's going on in the EU, I think they initially banned 18 and under. Now there's some sort of pause for a few weeks. So Meta's launching a subscription ad-free version of that in Europe. They don't want to do this. I'm not even sure Elon wants to do it, but it's a way to combat some of the negative aspects of social. I've said this in a few videos. I think some of these platforms, especially for businesses, should have made the subscription to the ad product like a foundational thing and then had tiers to it. I think that would have been smart way early. I don't mind the using IDs and verifying people. I think the anonymousness of social, I think those days kind of don't make sense as much anymore. So there's ad-free versions of TikTok, Twitter, and Meta. So Facebook and Instagram coming in the pipeline. I don't know if, I've tested out the Twitter one. I've never had the same issues. A lot of people complain about the site being down, et cetera, et cetera. The $8 version has been fine. I don't know if this is something that people are going to put in their budget. Like where does this go? I don't know. Maybe less people consume social if you have to pay for it. Who knows? Or there's just going to be that tiered approach where people don't want ads and they'll pay for it. And then that, there's organic content becomes the biggest play. So if you're a brand out there and social networks are still the only place to really massively reach consumers, then you're going to have to triple down on your organic strategy. So something to pay attention to as ads go away. How do you combat it? Organic. Make the best content you can, storytell. I think more brands have to get committed to how much content you have to make to break through. And I think once the good, smart ones do that, or the core percentage of them, you're going to see a lot of changes in the landscape. Biggest trend I'm seeing out there, and I think this is more of a broader content trend, you're seeing long form podcasts starting to take over versus legacy news. There's a big article in the Washington Post, I'm going to read it here. Content creators surge past legacy media as news hits a tipping point. I think it killed itself, right? As they, scrambled to keep people on. Shows got more and more, right or left wing. They got more and more combative. They got more and more crazy as they were trying to figure out how to keep people on the channel. They were trying to find like big personalities like Tucker or whoever it is to basically keep you on the channel. But I think ultimately people don't want to watch 30 minutes of don't want to watch a show and in 30 minutes you got, 7 to 8 minutes in ads. Maybe that eventually goes to YouTube. I do know YouTube has made a big play into it. But where you're seeing a lot of the presidential candidates, and actually Ron DeSantis has made his first exit or entrance into this. He did do Twitter Spaces, but he just did the Valuetainment podcast. So that's a huge sign that you get politicians on a very long form format. It changes the way that we understand them as thinkers, as people, as their policy stuff. And I think most of the people, 50 and younger, want to consume their most important decisions in long form and really understand it. They're going to watch it on buses and traveling and working out. There's a lot of opportunity with the cell phone to consume this content. So long form podcasts are really taking over. You're seeing Bill Maher getting into the space. He's bringing on politicians onto his talk show and having a drink and just chit-chatting. You have Joe Rogan. Elon Musk just jumped on there. Elon Musk, I think, is doing something on Twitter now. I think I literally just saw it today or yesterday where he's having some sort of a politician in long form podcast conversation himself. So this is only going to go more in that direction as it's easier to basically get these people on. And as you build audience, you had All In podcasts I mentioned in my last video. This is the future. And I think it's going to be great for society long term, where you're still going to get the disposable 60-minute sound bites on your short form content. You can ultimately go watch a long form. I'm shocked that CNN hasn't used their 30-minute shows or their hour-long shows with segments to break off into longer segments. Why can't you have your 6-minute segment? If you want to watch a long one, go to our YouTube channel or X or whatever it's going to be, and then you can consume the long-form information where you get more value, and it's better for the educated person who wants to learn more about the subject. I definitely think this is going to only go more. I think the more people innovate in the space, I always think there should be a show that basically talks about the narratives. Hey, Israel-Hamas war, let's write it out. Let's talk about the narratives. What do you need to know and why people are on both sides? I think people need that. I think we all need to be educated more versus the snippets and all that bullshit. So again, content creators surging past legacy media. It's only going to go more as people consume content when they want, where they want, how they want. They want it long form. They want it short form. They need mixes, and they don't want the ads overcomplicating everything. So I can go into this more, and that's probably a follow-up article, but we'll get into that. I want to jump into the next subject here. So Variety just launched a story. It says Selena Gomez takes a social media break due to horror, hate, violence, terror in the world, and posts won't change things. She says posts won't change things. So I'm not going to dive into all the aspects of this. As a person who's been on social media, since the MySpace days, if you're a young kid watching this podcast or this content, I want you to understand something. You are what you eat. You've heard that phrase before. You are what you consume. I was watching a documentary. You're going to go to the internet for answers, and if you consume, this much of a pie, and basically that starts to feed your thoughts, you're going to be more of what you feed yourself. So I encourage you to look at counter narratives, alternatives to just one thing. You're gonna feel this whole. I think they talk about most mental health. I've done a ton of work with the mental health industry. So you have very bad depression, anxiety. Most mental health issues come to fruition when you're 16 to 24, and that's because your life changes. You start to sort of feel empty as you grow, and you start to notice your consciousness starts to notice. I have different voids. I'm not good looking enough. I'm not cool enough. I'm not strong enough. I don't have this. You start to feel very small inside. And that's part of life. It's because you have to fill yourself with things that you want your future self to basically, you have to put the seeds in for what you want future things to bloom. So if you're filling yourself with drugs and violence and negative thoughts about yourself and not pushing yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, you're going to start what blossoms down will be things that you're not happy with. So if you think about your day, what you eat, what you're consuming on social media, you also have to make sure you're getting out there and doing classes and courses. And if you want to be an actor, jumping on stage, pushing through your fears, you have to go to things like seminars and mental health stuff to push yourself. Your mind is just like your physical body, so you need to basically improve yourself. So I'm bringing this up because social media is tough. It's tough for someone my age who's been through therapy, knows I've overcome anxiety, depression. I know how to work myself out of things. But when you're younger, you don't have those skill sets, you don't have those tools, you don't even understand that part of life yet. So you need to don't just get focused on such narrative things and negative things that aren't making your life better. Plant seeds that are going to grow into bigger things. Taking courses, studying books, taking an internship, joining classes and groups, being around people, building that, not just building online. If you want a game, that's great. How do you meet up in person? How do you do different things? Learn about mental health. There's so much that goes on, and it's really hard when you're 16 to 25. Sometimes it's really hard to get yourself to feel good about yourself, and that's totally normal. You guys should totally normal that. But what I encourage you is to not do drastic things to yourself to make you feel better. Do things that are healthy, working out, eating right. Going to college, taking courses online, trying things. Failing. Interacting. It's tough. Life is not perfect or easy. So social can be tough because you're seeing so much negativity sometimes with the Hamas and Israel thing. It's really hard. You're starting to pick sides. You're fighting with people over things that are happening across the world. It's good to educate yourself, but you need breaks. You need to do real world things. You need to work on yourself. So I just say that to say, I understand it's tough out there. I totally get it. Make sure you're taking breaks. I have to, do it myself. I take the boat all the time. I'm barely on the phone. There's lots of things I do working out. But making content, start becoming a producer and creator versus just a consumer. So you have power in life. You have an ability to push forward to break your situation. So I hope that encourages people, gives you some thoughts on social and someone who's been in it, who's had mental health, who's been through it. Remember, you are what you eat. You can change your algorithm. You can put better things in front of you. You can, choose to hit the button on a post and say, I don't want to see more of this. You can go off into other aspects of things. You can create a new social network that's more positive. So go out there and be the change. Don't let social and what's going on in the world bring you down. You fight it back by working on yourself. The last story of the day I want to share is LinkedIn hit 1 billion users. According to Routers, this is a new story that came out. And, LinkedIn I have a bunch of videos on this. LinkedIn has done a ton of great things. It's a great network. People are consuming more content there. It's still very overpriced in terms of ads. I don't think people are consuming as much content because it's getting very saturated, but it's still a great platform. And shout out to them for hitting 1 billion users. They're adding AI features for job seekers to help really cut through the noise and show how you can be a better candidate. But I just want to say that's a big milestone. There's so many new things going on with LinkedIn. Some paid strategies that have really been working for us there are full funnel. When you're running video views, you're running gated content, but you're also then remarketing. But remarketing with a mix of feed and in-mail are the strategies that are working for us. So I hope you've learned something. I hope you got some expertise and some just points of view that you haven't got anywhere else. And this is it. This is Day Trading Attention. I'll be back next week with more snippets, long form show, and different stuff as I'm evolving and learning myself as to be a better creator for you guys. Later.